Scoob. Classic story about a boy and his dog.
Wait, Scoob's a dog?
So, man, it's been a crazy time for all of us. We haven't really gotten to really do any movie reviews, and...
Oh, God, that is true. Like, we did Child's Play, which never got released. We did Power Rangers, which didn't get released. We were going to do Endgame, but we said fuck it after we realized that, we can't catch up.
Yeah, and like the main issue is, the editing of all the videos, is essentially just me doing it, and I work a full-time job, so it's like finding the time to actually get all those clips, put it together, and record ourselves or myself doing it. It's one of those times when it's like, hey, I got a good 3 or 4 days free in order to actually get everything edited and posted.
And next thing you know, you're asleep for those 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I'm asleep for those 3 or 4 days because I've literally been running all over the place working a 50, 60-hour week.
Bullshit, you've been playing Persona 5.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, it's Jeremy, a.k.a. Feld Fortitude.
Yeah, Action, or Kevin, whatever you want to call me. But we've decided that, we really miss doing the movie reviews, and we figure it'd be a lot easier to basically just do a podcast.
No clips needed. No need to sexy ourselves up with makeup. Not that we do that. And
Kim.
Come on.
Anyway,
let's just be honest, it's Zip.
Yeah, that's true. That's your freaking Hoovian.
Goddamn Trekker.
So basically, we just figured, let's just do this in podcast form, and now that we do technically have ample time, even though we're both still working during what's going on right now.
Oh yeah, I never stopped working.
We both still work, but it is ultimately going to be easier for us to just do it like a podcast. Just talk about the movies. Yeah,
it's going to be an offshoot from the idea that I thought of a while back in our potty mouth. Which is just shooting the shit through video games, but honestly, this seems like a better format. No need to record anything, just our voices.
Yeah, and now I do enjoy going out to the movie theaters, but we understand what's happening. The movie theaters are shut down now, maybe some of them are here. Starting to open back up,
but I still don't trust being around that many people. Like, it's bad enough my job, a call center, is making me work at the call center.
Yeah, 6 feet away from the next person who may or may not be sick.
Yeah. So if I die, just note, Scoob was a great movie.
Yeah, and it's very ironic how when we decide, hey, let's go ahead and start doing this format, what's the next movie we should do? 4 days later from when we decide, okay, let's go ahead and do this podcast form, we're about to get Scoob released on digital. So I
bought it at work.
Yeah, so we're like, you know what? Why the hell not? Let's start this back up with Scoob. Granted, this franchise started back in 1969, and this is way before my time.
Unless you are legitimately a baby, you grew up with Scooby-Doo.
I sure as hell did. Yeah,
I did too. Yeah, I remember in Cartoon Network where they used to have I think it was a 2-day marathon of nothing but Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, exactly. And heck, when I was a kid, my oldest brother was a huge Scooby-Doo fan, probably still is now, and he's the one who got me into Scooby-Doo.
By the way, if he has free time, send him let him know that I can send him my voodoo info.
All right, we'll do. Yeah, but
that's it if he didn't buy it himself, because if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, without spoiling anything at all, this is hands down probably up there with some of the best Scooby-Doo movies ever.
It really is. It's the best Scooby-Doo movie I've seen in a long time. At least best animated that I've seen in a long time since Zombie Island. And that honestly goes down as arguably the best Scooby-Doo film in existence.
Yeah.
It really is, because for the first time in 20 years, or what, this came out in the mid-90s.
Yeah, and it was real monsters.
Real monsters, real shit hitting the fan.
That's the funny thing about Scooby-Doo. If it's the shows, it's never real monsters. But if it's any of the movies, whether it's the live action or the animated, they're always real monsters. Whether they're man-made real monsters, like in Cyber Chase, where that fucking ginger just like made the virus, or if it's like, you know, Tim Curry with the ponytail awakening his dead grandma.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, if this movie, it's not just for Scooby-Doo fans. It's for Hanna-Barbera fans.
Oh God, yes.
If you are a fan of the world of Hanna-Barbera, this is the movie for you.
And there's no spoilers in what we just said right there. Dick Dastardly's all over the damn trailer. The same thing with Blue Falcon.
Yeah, heck, I didn't even, and I actually watched another Easter egg video before we started this, just to kind of see, hey, did I miss any Easter eggs or cameos that were in the movie that I just didn't catch? And there were several that I did not catch. Like I did not know that, like okay, so when Captain Caveman had his own cartoon, there was a trio of teenage fighters that were with him, the name escapes me right now, but Blue Falcon's pilot, she was one of those teenagers.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, Dee Dee was her name, and I'm like, wait, I've seen her somewhere before. She looks familiar. I know I've seen her face. That can't be an original character. And so when I looked it up, found the Easter egg. Yeah, she was one of the teens that teamed up with Captain Caveman.
Okay, what about the bowling girl?
The bowling girl, that was a straight up OC, just a random character they built. But she actually laid out a She actually laid out an Easter egg to Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, they got beamed up. It's like, yeah, that's a total Star Trek reference. There.
See, if Zip would have just hung out with us that day, like everybody else did, hell, even Kim saw the movie.
Yeah.
I think Zip would have laughed his ass off when he saw that Easter egg.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like there is probably about a good 40 Easter eggs and cameos.
Oh, there's
in this
some
movie.
of them that just go by real fast, like over at the amusement park.
Yeah, a lot of them in the amusement park. I saw a arcade machine for Hong Kong Phooey. That was like
super guy.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Oh man, I was looking for an El Kabong Easter egg.
Yeah, but there is one disappointment that I have with the movie as far as like the Hanna-Barbera cameos and Easter eggs, which I'll get into later. But basically, what this movie does is the same thing that a lot of the other Scooby-Doo movies have done, at least in the last 20 years or so, because prior to this, like let's say 80s on back. 80s on back. Prior to that, Scooby-Doo has kind of stuck to the same formula. You got the kids in the mystery machine. They're on the road. They're heading somewhere. They stop somewhere and
someplace that always happens to be haunted.
Yeah, some random side character approaches them, says, "Yo, this place is haunted. There's a ghost of this guy that's haunting this village and scaring everybody out. We need you guys to help us out with it." And so they do their investigation stuff. They do their mystery thing. They find out, hey, it's a dude in a costume. Pull the mask off, hand him over to the authorities.
Old Man Smithers.
Yep, and boom, on to the next location. It's always been the same thing. Well, once you start getting to the early 80s, when you get, say, the new Scooby-Doo movies, they started to change it up a bit. Now, it's technically the same thing, but now you've got some special guest characters. Like, they team with Don Knotts. They team with Batman. They team with the Harlem Globetrotters. You know, a lot of stuff
Elvira, there. I think, like, in 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, hell, I think the series finale, or at least one of the last episodes of the series, they teamed with my homegirls, the Josie and the Pussycats. They were there too.
They teamed with Josie. They teamed with what's the name of the bug? The talking bug? I mean, not the bug. The car. It was
Herbie.
Not Herbie. The other one. He always sounded like his motor was on like.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think I heard Herbie the Love Bug when you said that, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they basically had their own Shaggy. Like that back then. Like if you were a teenage group, you had your Shaggy. He always looked like him. He may or may not have been a stoner. Then you had the smart one, which was always the Velma. You could always tell, usually because she always had glasses somehow.
Yeah, and 9 out of 10 times was the one figuring shit out.
Then you had the pretty girl. She was either pretty and dumb, pretty and a bitch.
Yep, and then you had the muscle, which is your Fred.
Yeah, who was always rocking a very unique accessory. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And then you had the animal companion, which was your Scoob.
Yeah, you had Jabberjaw,
like Jabberjaw, like Grape
Ape, Captain Caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
even Dynamite.
Dynamite, but I'm just trying to remember, but I can visually remember. I can visually see. I think he was like a dune buggy or something like that. Like he was, his headlights were the eyes. He had a mouth, and he could talk, but it always sounded like he was like a sputtering motor.
Speed Buggy?
Thank you!
Yeah, there we go. Speed Buggy.
Yes,
yeah.
like, honestly, like, you had all those things. Hell, even to this day, Mike Tyson's mystery group.
Yeah, even they take inspiration from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, because Mike Tyson's clearly the Velma.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of history with Hanna-Barbera overall, and a lot of inspiration, a lot of legacy that Scooby-Doo has left, and this movie does end up capturing that. And now here's the one thing that scared me initially about this movie, and I'm not talking about the movie itself. I'm talking about people's reception of the movie, because every time you get some of these fans who are nostalgic fans of the classic stuff, they start to hold judgment towards this new product based on the old product. And realistically, we know and realistically we get it. Like, look, they still have Frank Walker. He's still voicing Scooby even 30 years later. Still got Frank Walker. But you got Zac Efron as Fred Jones now.
Does a good job.
Yeah, you got Will Forte as Shaggy now.
Which, honestly, he did a great job. I kind of wish they still stuck with Matthew Lillard. That's just me, though.
Yeah, and then you got Gina Rodriguez as Velma now, who if you're not familiar, if y'all are not familiar with her, and you've seen the Netflix series Carmen Sandiego, yeah, she's Carmen Sandiego, and she did a phenomenal job in that too. You know, but you know, we get it though. We get it. Okay, Will Forte is no Casey Kasem.
I love how you just forgot about Daphne.
No. I was listing some examples just so we can keep pressing. You know, but here's the thing. We get it. You know, Will Forte is no Casey Kasem. You know, we can't even put him in the same vein as Matthew Lillard. Okay, Zac Efron is no Frank Walker. Okay, we get that, but you can't put them on that same pedestal as these other classes because those guys are legends. Yeah, you know, and they're not going to voice these characters forever.
For God's sakes, like, I'm glad I didn't see anybody saying like, "Oh, why isn't Casey Kasem voicing Shaggy in the new movie?" Casey Kasem's dead.
Because he's dead, dumbass. I mean, come on.
Like,
rest in peace, Casey.
Yeah, it's like you kind of want to use that clip from Family Guy. Like, I tell you, he dead.
Yeah, exactly. But
every iteration of anything, be it, you know, comic book movies, comic book TV shows, you know, Power Rangers, you know, new reboots for video games, you know, everything has to stand on its own. You know, yes, it is good if you can get the same, you know, voices and everything. That is okay because at least a new generation can experience greatness. But, like, look at every iteration of Batman for cartoon-wise. Not every single one of them was Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm just saying Kevin Conroy because everybody, when you think Batman speaking, like, if you look at a picture of Batman with words on it, whose voice do you automatically hear?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind for most of these fans is Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And same with live-action Batman. Not every live-action Batman is going to be Adam West or Michael Keaton, you know.
Or Val Kilmer. Come on, give him some due.
Yeah, well, hey, Val Kilmer was better than George Clooney, in my honest opinion. But still, you know, they're not going to be those.
Or that one dude from the Bat in the Sun series.
Yeah. That dude, he's a legend in his own right.
Yeah, that motherfucker, like, oof.
Bat and the Sun, you guys are doing something right. I love y'all.
You know what? Side note, I just thought of another video we can do, which I will throw it on here just so we have to do it now. Let's review Bat and the Sun's, like, catalog of fights.
You know what? I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Stay tuned in 3 years when we actually get to that.
Yeah, but anyway, so you got to essentially minus Frank Walker, who's still Scooby. You got a new crop of actors and a new story for Scooby. This movie goes into more backstory and more character development.
Oh, God, man. The times of, like, I wanted to tear up in that movie.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And it's just because I'm an animal lover through and through. Like, I like cats, I like dogs, but I hold a hardcore sentiment for dogs. My closest pet was my former Chihuahua, Harley. So, seeing in the beginning, which is, again, in the trailers, the meeting of young Norville Shaggy Rogers, and yes, if you did not know that, that is Shaggy's real name.
Yeah, that's his name.
Meeting an unknown puppy, because they did not go with the pup named Scooby-Doo backstory of he comes from a lineage of dogs, and his real name's Scoobert.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing a young puppy stray, like meeting young Shaggy, and then bonding immediately, come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at the movie, that like before we were named Scoob, we were just known as that dog. I mean, come on, that dog was a criminal. I mean, come on, man. That dog,
he gave no shits.
He gave no fucks, man. He broke into
a shawarma joint.
He broke into a shawarma joint and just stole a giant log of shawarma beef and just starts running away in Venice Beach. And so naturally,
he's tracked by the popo.
Yeah, and y'all, you're watching the trailer thinking that this is just some dick cop that's just fucking with Scoob because he's a stray. No, that dog stole probably about $100 worth of meat.
Not even $100 because shawarma meat gets used until it's completely done. That was like probably thousands of dollars worth of profit right there.
The damn meat log was bigger than Scooby. I mean, come on.
Like also he injured that cop.
Yes, he did. And yet now, realistically speaking, you would think that if the cop approaches this kid and this kid says, "Yo, that's my dog," first thing the cop would say is, "Well, your dog just caused thousands of dollars in damage and stole product from a restaurant that's worth even more money. You're gonna have to pay for that." No, this dude just says, "That's your dog. What's his name? Scooby."
Oh no! It was Snacks.
Yeah, and then he finally settled on Scooby, and he was like, middle name, Doobie, last name, Doo. Okay, works for me. Have a good day, kid. And he just goes.
He never even said, it was like, well, I can't prosecute a dog if it has a full name. That was literally...
Yeah, and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Like, if that's the case, man, we need to train, like, fucking animals now.
Yeah, shoot, we can get away with anything. If that's the case. Yeah,
Brandon's as close to an animal as we can get. He has a full name.
You still need a new car, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's just go train your next dog to just steal a car and give him a middle name, and then you'll be set for life.
Yep.
I swear. Okay, but the story goes into detail on how Scooby met Shaggy and how all the kids met. And ironically enough, the first time they meet was on Halloween, and they happen to come across a quote-unquote haunted house, and that was essentially their first mystery. Just kind of stumble upon it, and all they're doing is trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Honestly, it's because, I shit you not, 2 juggalos fuck with Shaggy.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that Easter egg video that I watched, and I don't remember who put it out, but this Easter egg I watched says that the face paint was a possible Easter egg for the Joker, which this person thinks, hey, makes sense because still a Warner Brothers product. They can use Joker hints there. But even I was like, dude, that's not Joker. That's ICP.
Yeah, like
that's Insane Clown Posse.
Like when we were watching the movie, everybody just turns to me because if nobody knew this, I am a juggalo. I love ICP. I've always have ever since my uncle introduced it to me back from I want to say the Amazing Chuckle Brothers. But that's far from the point. Like, the moment that we saw the face paint, they all looked at me, and I was like, dude, ICP, what the hell? Like,
Exactly. I recognize it, and I'm not even a juggalo.
well, I mean, ICP is, like, iconic. Like, they're, like, one of those bands that you either know just because of their notoriety, or you know because you hate them.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I kind of know them for the notoriety. I mean, I've heard
a
a bunch of
wrestling
their
fan.
Oh yeah, I've heard a bunch of their music, but I can't say I actively follow them as a
yeah.
fan, you know. But it's nothing against
But
them.
like the fact that they're in this, like that's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't stop there. There's so many references to real life people, real life bands in this movie too.
Oh, the first what the fuck moment after the whole kids scene is over is the first celebrity we meet.
Oh, freaking Simon Cowell.
Who voices himself.
Voices himself. And I'm like, where the fuck did Simon Cowell come from?
Not only that, it's a remarkable likeness.
Oh yeah, they did a damn good job. I think his eyes were a little tiny, but I can get past that. Everything else was perfect, you know. Yeah, but yeah, this movie is chock full of references just like that. And one of the best parts that I'm not gonna lie made me cry and made us all clap when it was all done was the opening sequence. They redid the opening sequence to Scooby-Doo Where Are You from 1969.
From little kids to where they age up.
Yes, and it was just beautiful, like bit for bit, shot for shot, everything from that original opening.
That like just opened my heart and just poured in nostalgia.
Yes.
So this is something that you can honestly watch with your kids, your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren. And like everybody's going to get something from every iteration.
Yeah, it's literally for everybody. Even for people who have no idea who the hell Scooby-Doo is, never saw a bit of it. You're going to get into it.
If my grandfather was still alive, you know, I guarantee you he would have loved this movie. He fucking loves Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and honestly, it makes me want to call my brother and just be like, "Yo, buy this movie, watch it with your kids. They're gonna love this." Yeah, but we get it. But anyway, we get into modern day, and
Simon Cowell. What the fuck?
Yeah, the what the fuck moment. Simon Cowell is talking to Mystery Inc. and because they're looking to expand. They're trying to be more than just a bunch of kids traveling around solving mysteries in a van with a dog and a pothead friend. No, they're doing
allegedly. He wasn't as potheady.
Yeah, allegedly. But
he probably just smoked the oils.
Yeah, but they're trying to make this a legitimate business where they can potentially go global or go national or potentially go global, and actually make some real money doing this. But Simon Cowell, so they approach Simon Cowell to say, "Hey, we're looking for an investor."
And he straight up says, he was like, "I don't put my name on just anything. And you guys are as strong as your weakest links." So you can pretty much go in your mind where this is going to.
Yeah, who would you think that Simon Cowell would address as the weakest links? Scooby and Shaggy, the ones who, in his mind, contribute the least to the team. As most of the time, they're not even paying attention to the conversation.
Which ironically, in that conversation,
they weren't.
There's a joke that's in there. We won't spoil it for you, but there is a funny joke.
Yeah, and so now of course the rest of the team, they're like, "Look, man, these guys are our friends. They're part of this team. We can't just kick them to the curb. We've been
together for 10 years.
Yeah, we can't just kick them to the curb like that. You know, they're part of this team." And so Simon's like, "Well, if you're all keeping them around, well, I'm out." You know, so there went that sponsorship. And it's this.
Well, yeah, like he was just, well, I'm out, but also, you know, the decision that sets off the rest of the movie happens.
Yeah, exactly. Because of that conversation with Simon Cowell, you got Shaggy and Scooby now who view themselves as that weakest link,
and they're a little butthurt, rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And so now they're going through this character evolution, this character change. To say, hey, you know, do we really contribute anything? Are we actually important to this movie? So now you got some character development here, You got some real character development between Shaggy and Scooby that we've honestly never seen before, at least not to this level. So most of this movie is focusing. Yeah, the main focus for most of this movie is Shaggy and Scooby, but it's the character development portion of it. Now, it doesn't mean that they're in the spotlight 24/7, and then we don't get any attention paid to Fred, Velma, and Daphne. But
quite the opposite. It keeps going back and forth.
Yeah, quite the opposite. But a lot of the catalyst that kickstart the events of this movie is that journey of self-validation for Shaggy and Scooby.
And the thing is, it's not even a mystery that sets this movie off. It's literally that. Like, it's not even like, over in the Philippines, there's this story about an ancient witch that summons people by howling into the moon. It's like, no, it's just Simon Cowell being Simon Cowell, and that sets off what happens in the movie.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, they go to a
bowling alley.
They go to a bowling alley, which, by the way, you saw the name on that bowling alley.
I said that has to be a reference to something.
It is.
What was it?
That's the guy. The bowling alley is named after the guy who did the initial designs for Scooby-Doo.
I fucking knew it because remember, Isaac was just like, "Oh no, that's just a bowling brand." And I'm just like, "Okay, that makes sense."
It's like no, like so far everything that they put into this movie has meaning. Like even the names of the buildings.
There was a Pebbles one.
Yeah, there was that. Even the name of the name of on a billboard when we first see Shaggy. It had the name Casey's Creations. That was a nod to Casey Kasem.
Yes.
There was two shops. I don't think they were restaurants, but there were two shops that actually had the names Hanna and Barbera. Boom, Hanna-Barbera. And so and even the not the shawarma shop, but the gyro shop that you see in that line of shops on Venice Beach. It had the name Alexander's Great Gyros or something like that. Yeah. It was a nod to Alexander the Great, which storyline wise, Alexander the Great is actually an important part of this story because it's
kind of threw me for a loop.
Threw us all for a loop because it's all linked to Scooby and Shaggy, which we're not going to get into spoilers, so we're not going to go into detail about that until later in the video. Yeah, and we'll give you a spoiler warning when we do that. But every name that you see, well, at least most every name that you see of a building or of a business or on a billboard or something, it has some type of significance.
You're gonna want to watch this movie. If you're gonna want to watch this movie like 2 or 3 times, one to just enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy the story, enjoy the character development.
Don't focus on trying to get the Easter eggs. You're gonna get a good amount because it's just gonna happen. Mm-hmm. But the next 2 or 3 times, you're going to go through that with a fine-tooth comb. You're going to basically freaking, deadbeat James this, and you're probably going to watch it at a certain slow pace. And you're going to be like, oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Wait, is that who I think it is? Oh, yeah. It is. That's who I think it is.
Yeah, and you're going to start analyzing stuff. And so...
And then you're going to possibly see things that are going to set up for the next couple of movies. Because honestly, I could see them making a sequel to this. If they do, that's awesome. If they don't, I'm fine with this because this is a good standalone.
Yeah, and there's a lot, and if they stick with the whole idea of
the Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe,
Hanna-Barbera universe, bringing it all together through Scooby-Doo, then you open the doors for at least 1 or 2 sequels because there's so much to that world that hasn't even been tapped into yet. But anyway, back to the bowling alley. So Shaggy and Scooby. It's learned that they go to this bowling alley, when they got stuff on their mind and they just want to clear their minds and just play some bowling. And that's what they were doing. They were just bowling. But stuff starts coming to life and attacking them. It's like the bowling pins turn into these little scorpion robots and just literally start bum rushing them.
Until they turn into like little chibi cutesy things.
Yeah, it's like in this moment, Shaggy and Scooby are about to die. No shit.
This is the closest thing to legitimate death. Since Zombie
Island. Yeah, exactly. And then they get beamed up on this spaceship, and I know this all sounds fucking crazy, but just
it's IKEA.
But yeah, But you do see this in the trailer. This the when Scooby is like, "It's IKEA." Did you just say IKEA?
It was like, look, man, do you know where we are? It's like the blue lightning, the chrome finish. It's
IKEA.
Falcon Fury. Did you just say IKEA?
No, I said Falcon Fury, just like you. Yeah, but you come to learn that this is the ship of a superhero named the Blue Falcon.
And if you grew up watching Hanna-Barbera, you don't even have to grow up watching Hanna-Barbera. If you watch Harvey Birdman, you know who Blue Falcon is.
Who the Blue Falcon is, yes. And
maybe not that iteration, but you know who Blue Falcon is.
Yeah, and so they get saved, quote unquote, by Blue Falcon and his pilot Dee Dee, who, as we kind of discussed earlier, she is actually one of the 3 teenagers that teamed up with Captain Caveman.
Would you say she's a teenager with attitude?
Yeah, pretty much. And so they're like, you guys got attacked because there's some bigger plot going on. There is an evil villain that is plotting something dastardly, pun intended.
And he's a penis.
Yeah, and that opens the door for Dick Dastardly, who is this movie's villain. He is chasing after Scooby.
And if you've never heard of Dick Dastardly, then he opens up this whole universe. Like, this dude is kind of like Malekith from Thor 2, in the sense of, like, you've never heard of him, but he's important. Yeah,
exactly. And if you have heard of him, then again, the nostalgia just hits you right in the heart.
Oh, Wacky Racers, man.
Yeah, Wacky Racers, Laugh Olympics, all that stuff, man. I'm like, oh my God, Dick Dastardly. Now, that's one of the things I wish the trailer didn't necessarily spoil for us. Because
that should have been something that was just clearly for the movie.
Yeah, because that's a pretty big reveal. If they didn't show it in the trailer, you would have your mind blown to see Dick Dastardly as the main villain.
That would be like if they were doing Infinity War and they showed the snap.
Yeah, exactly. That's a pretty big scene to just drop into a trailer. But anyway, it's like the movie reveals so much more. So just to make a long story short, without really spoiling a whole lot of stuff,
which we'll do in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Dick Dastardly is chasing after Shaggy and Scooby because he needs them for a bigger plot, a much bigger plot. And so while this is going on, you got the rest of the Mystery Inc. on the ground trying to figure out what the fuck is happening, because they're hearing wait, tiny robots that turn into scorpions and they shoot lasers, and Shaggy and Scooby were beamed up onto a spaceship.
And you have to pay for Netflix?
Yeah, and it's like, what? What the hell is going on? And man, bless her heart, Velma is taking all this information in, and she is not phased at all. She's
nerding the hell out. She was like, oh man, look at the work on this robot. I wish I could just shake the hand of the man who made this. And they look at her. Now, granted, if you know Velma, she's really impressed. But then she has to, like, recover immediately. She was like, oh, yeah, so I can throw some handcuffs on, put that bastard in jail because he stole our friend.
Yeah, and all the while I'm watching this, I'm like, I love Velma. I love Velma so much.
Yeah, this iteration of Velma is probably the best of every iteration.
Yeah, like me, Velma is my Scooby-Doo waifu. I'll just be honest with you, man. When I was growing up, everybody loved Daphne.
Oh no, I'm a
Daphne
Velma man.
Daphne was their woman. Like me, Velma was my chick. Like I friggin' loved Velma, and
it didn't hurt that when they made the live action movies, they always casted the hottest chick to play Velma.
Yeah, friggin' Linda Cardellini, man, I love her so much too. You know, but Velma is taking all this information in, and she's just like, oh, okay, cool, and does her Velma thing, whips out her supercomputer, and within like 2 minutes figures out where they gotta go, who it is that they're dealing with, and what they gotta do to save Shaggy and Scooby, and then of course from there, that's when the adventure ensues. They eventually run into Dick Dastardly. They quote unquote get kidnapped, but
there's a reason for it.
But there's a reason for it. Like Dick Dastardly doesn't want to kill these guys. He actually needs them so he can get Shaggy and Scooby.
Like everything is methodically thought out.
Yeah, nothing in this movie happens for no reason, except technically speaking, the unmasking later.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was hilarious. But we'll get to that. Everything is written for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And Dick Dastardly, he's always been one of those masterminds who doesn't just do stuff for the sake of doing it. He's has like a purpose. Doom. Yes. He exactly. He has a purpose. He has a purpose to everything he does. And that shines brightly in this movie as well. Everything he does is for a reason. And as all the pieces of the puzzle start coming together, you see that big picture.
Oh man!
And it just blew my fucking mind when it all finally came together, and we see why he wanted Scooby and what he was after. And then you think he's going to like try and destroy the world or take over the world when there's actually something much deeper going on.
Yes.
That he is trying to accomplish.
Now let's just cut it off right here for the non-spoiler part. Because, we should just spoil the hell out of it. Let's just give our ratings right now.
Yeah. We'll go into our ratings and then we'll give you a spoiler warning and let you know what's happening. So here's what I thought about this. Okay, I loved the new story, and like what I was getting to before is, ever since the 80s on forward, pretty much every incarnation of Scooby-Doo tried something new. New backstories, new character developments, new side characters, new plot twists, things like that. Heck, even with What's New Scooby-Doo, even with Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, they all tried something new. And this movie is no different. It tried something new. It kept it fresh. And that's what I love about it. And I love a good storyline. I love my nostalgia, but it is only so long that you can keep doing the same thing over and over again before it starts getting stale. You got to keep the stuff fresh, and that's the best thing that's the best thing that this movie has done. It tried something new backstories for the characters, new ways to get them to come together, new development for them over the years, and a new villain. A villain that's not just a guy in a mask trying to scare people. A villain that actually has a big picture plot that he is trying to accomplish, and then on top of that, bringing in essentially the other Hanna-Barbera creations to kind of create a Hanna-Barbera universe through Scooby-Doo. And that was even better. And they haven't even hit on every single Hanna-Barbera creation, which leads me to believe that there's going to be a sequel. At least one sequel later. I freaking love this. It's a great movie for nostalgic Scooby-Doo fans. It's a great movie for casual Scooby-Doo fans, and it's a great movie for new Scooby-Doo fans who've never seen anything Scooby-Doo prior to this. It's fantastic. Everybody needs to see this movie. You're going to enjoy the hell out of it. And like Jeremy was saying, watch it 2 or 3 times just to go back through and see all the Easter eggs and all the cameos that you probably missed. And then you're going to get even more enjoyment out of it. That gives it rewatchability. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's nothing but a nerdgasm right there. Everything about it is a nerdgasm. Yeah. My only gripe, which I kind of hinted at earlier, my only gripe about this is that there was one Hanna-Barbera creation that they did not cover, they did not give an Easter egg to, that I saw at least, and they did not have a cameo for, and that's my crew, Josie and the Pussycats. I did not see them anywhere in this movie, especially when there was technically a clear setup in the very end to say, yo, there's a musical act coming. Yo, don't worry, they're going to be here any moment. I'm like, oh my God, it's the Josie and the Pussycats. No, it wasn't Josie and the Pussycats. And I was like, son of a bit. I'm done. I'm done with it. But I can't hold that against this movie
because it could end up coming in the next one.
Yeah, because there could end up being a sequel, and I might get that, and I really hope Warner Brothers is listening. But this is nerdgasm all over from start to finish for me. It's for everybody. Everybody who has any enjoyment of Scooby-Doo at any particular level, whether you're a newbie or you're a nostalgic fan of the old school stuff, man. This is your movie.
Honestly, I have to go along with Kev on this one. It is rather enjoyable. It's such just a treat for the eyes, a treat for the fan, a treat for the heart. It's I'm gonna straight up say nerdgasm. From all the Hanna-Barbera lore, from the little Easter eggs, honestly, I want them. I'm really interested in seeing if they're gonna introduce some of Scooby-Doo's family. Like, is Scrappy Doo gonna somehow make a comeback? Dummy Doo? Dopey Doo? what was his name again?
Oh shoot! Let me look that up real quick. I need some next to my computer.
Yeah, because he has the cousin who's white and he's like a doofy. Is it Doofy-Doo?
Scooby-Doo family tree. There's Scooby-Dum. There's Ruby-Doo.
Is Scooby-Dum the like I said, the white one with the red hat?
Let's see. Daddy-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Dum, Scooby-D. There's literally a Doobie-Doobie-Doo. So yeah, Scooby-Dum is the one you're thinking about.
Okay.
The grayish white one with the red hat.
Like there's that. There's so many different things. Like, are they going to introduce Scrappy? Like, I want to see if they're going to show Scrappy the same hatred that everybody shows him, or are they going to actually introduce him as, like, you know, somebody interesting? Because they can go both ways. They could go into where, like, hey, this new puppy comes out of nowhere and he tries to take over, you know, Scooby's spot. Of course, that could end up, like, showing, like, jealousy things. But, you know, and then he eventually learns, like, oh, I'm kind of being a dick. And then he just... Scooby just adopts him as a brother, or like in the case of a nephew. Mm-hmm. But, excuse me. But it's a nerdgasm. The whole thing with Dick Dastardly, Blue Falcon. He's something that I'll get into in the spoilers because it's so funny how they introduce him. You know, everything about this movie is just good.
And like, you know what? I wanted to throw this in there. One of the best nerdgasm moment from when we were watching. See, we were at our buddy's place. There are 6 of us in this room watching this movie. We all nerdgasmed at the same time when they went to that arena and they met Captain Caveman and they said, "Yo, you want that item over there? You're gonna have to fight me for it." Okay, let's fight. Cool. And all 6 of us in unison said with the character, "Captain Caveman," and that made me feel like 5 years old again. Yes, I freaking love that.
And with that cue, spoiler warning, because we're about to go into the spoilers.
Yes, so you
got
have
like 10 seconds.
You got 10 seconds. I'm gonna sip my Mountain Dew.
I'm gonna drink the rest of this 2-liter of cherry Coca-Cola. What do you want to get to eat?
Yeah, I'm not that hungry right now, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably snack on something in a bit.
Are you guys still here?
Yeah. I guess the 10 seconds is up now.
They really want to hear the spoilers. Are you sure you haven't seen the movie yet? You have time to pause this video, you know, go rent the movie or buy it.
Last chance.
Okay. Oh, so you did. No, wait. I know you. You didn't buy that movie. You put a Fred Jones, didn't you?
Wait, you have to pay for the movie?
Yes. Anyway, spoiler time. So yeah, it turns out the Blue Falcon we're following is not Blue Falcon.
Well, it's his son. It's not the original.
It's Blue Falcon 2.
Yeah, and they kind of swerved us a little bit because
I thought it was just gonna be Blue Falcon, just more modernized. Like I thought that was just gonna. I was like, oh, okay, so they modernized the outfit. You know, anything that was like toy related or comic related that was just gonna be based on his original design, and like the one that they see is like, oh no, of course I'm gonna look different.
Yeah, but it's like they kind of swerved us a little bit because they was like, hey, what happened to the original Blue Falcon? He's like, oh, he's no longer with us. And they're like, what? The original Blue Falcon died? It's like, oh, no, he retired. He's in Florida.
He's in Panama.
Yeah, Panama, wherever the hell he said.
Yeah, I think it was Panama or something like that.
Something like that. So yeah, his son took his place.
Brian.
Yeah, his son Brian, who for the entire movie they just referred to as Brian. So
until the end,
until the very end, when
Dynamite has no fucks given for him.
Yeah, so when shit starts hitting the fan, and he finally, pulls his head out of his ass and says, "Okay, I'm gonna fight and I want to be a hero."
That's like, let's do this, Blue Falcon.
Yeah, like, he finally calls him Blue Falcon.
Like, and that was like the thing that he needed. He needed that little morale boost, like because the whole point of the movie, in many ways, Blue Falcon and Shaggy are the same person. Not necessarily that they're both cowards or anything like that, but they're both put in a predicament where they're in the shadow of somebody. Unfortunately, Shaggy is in the shadow of Fred. He's in the shadow of Velma. Even the shadow of Daphne, who in this case, they don't make her to be just a dumb, damsel in distress. I mean, they averted to it in the beginning.
Yeah, and I gotta admit something here. Yeah, and here's the thing. I gotta admit something though. I gotta admit, when I was watching this movie and even watching the trailer, I thought Blue Falcon 2 was voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no, I was laughing for a completely different reason. I was explaining why.
Yeah, and because like to me, he sounded exactly
Ryan Reynolds
a very Ryan Reynolds vibe, and he sounded like him too. And then when the credits rolled, it's like Mark Wahlberg as Blue Falcon. I'm like, that was Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, you didn't hear any of what? No, you didn't hear the Wahlbergness.
No, I didn't hear any of that. I heard Ryan Reynolds
as Deadpool.
As Deadpool. That's what I heard. I heard Deadpool. So
I was waiting for him to just bust out a chimichanga from a utility belt.
Yeah. So, God damn it, Mark Wahlberg, good job. You fooled the hell out of me.
And people say you can't act.
I swear, man. But yeah,
don't kick my ass. I wasn't one of those people.
Yeah, I loved your brother Donnie and New Kids. But anyway, moving on.
But the reason why you heard me laughing, I thought he was getting into this. But in the beginning, and what I hinted to a little bit ago, the only time that you ever saw Daphne be the damsel in distress was in their technical first mystery, where she got captured. And the first thing that Kev says is just "Damn it, Daphne, you're dressed as Wonder Woman."
It's God damn it, Daphne, you're Wonder Woman. Come on, get it together.
And I lost my shit in when we were watching it over at our friend's place. It just legitimately made me laugh my ass off. The fact that Shaggy kept calling Velma Judge Judy, and
girl dressed like Judge Judy. This is a bad idea.
But honestly, it was a really good movie. Spoiler warning is already out the window. Dick Dastardly, yes, he's the main villain. And the entire time I'm watching the fucking movie, I'm like, where's his dog?
Yeah, and they get to this point where
everybody in the movie, if this was a theater, everybody who knows who Dick Dastardly is,
you know who Muttley is,
and you're just where the fuck is Muttley?
Yeah, and there's a scene when you start to get into the exposition of Dick Dastardly's plan and what he's trying to do. He's holding this picture of Muttley, and
you're just assuming the worst.
Yeah, they made it look like Muttley died, and I'm just like, what? We're all like, Muttley's dead? No, you got to be shitting me.
It was just we have this happy-go-lucky movie, and you just throw this on us?
Yeah, and so now we're like, oh fuck, man, what the fuck? And it's no wonder Dick Dastardly's all pissed. He's probably taking his anger out on
the world,
on the world, and
he went from being a guy that just wanted to cheat to win a race to fuck the world.
Yeah, but then you start getting into more details,
and you're like, oh,
and it's okay, this makes sense. So he and Muttley went on this mission.
He's still the bad guy. There's nothing around. You can't go around that. He's still the bad guy.
Yeah, he's still the bad guy, but his mission is actually
to get Muttley back.
Yeah, his mission is to save Muttley because he and Muttley went on this operation to open the gates to the underworld
to steal freaking Alexander the Great's gold.
Yeah, to steal his treasure. And so he sent Muttley in to go retrieve the treasure, but Muttley couldn't get out.
Meanwhile, he's telling the story, and he was like, Muttley volunteered himself, and you just see him just pushing Muttley.
Muttley bravely volunteered himself to go into the depths of the underworld to retrieve the treasure. When on screen you see Dick Dastardly just kind of push Muttley into the portal and just go. And Muttley's like, yeah,
what the fuck?
Muttley's like, yeah, what the hell? It's like, yeah, whatever, I'll go. And so he goes in and he starts retrieving treasure.
And they do Muttley justice.
I
thought they were just gonna make him he's gonna be kind of like a normal looking dog. They're probably gonna make Scooby the special dog. No, Muttley has the ability to talk way better than Scooby.
Yeah, this is Muttley, the real freaking Muttley. And so Muttley gets trapped there, and then the gate closed, and so now
you
Dick
just
Dastardly,
assume the worst.
Yeah, and now Dick Dastardly will straight up tell you.
I want my dog.
Yeah, he loves his dog. He wants his dog back.
He may piss him off.
Yeah,
He wants his dog.
They may be at each other's throats all the time, but that's his dog, and he loves his dog.
And any dog, any animal, any pet owner knows that yes, your pet will piss you off, or in this case, my roommate's pet will piss me off. But if something happened to Axel, I would do my damnedest to save him.
Yeah, damn straight, and same with me. And so this whole thing is him trying to reopen those gates so that he could save Muttley, but not to do
the treasure. I mean, that's just a bonus.
Like he still wants the treasure, granted, but his main mission is Muttley.
Yeah.
And so to do this, he has to go around the world collecting these three ancient skulls, and they
skulls of the Cerberus.
Yeah, the 3 skulls of the Cerberus, and
they keep making an inside joke that Shaggy and Scooby cannot remember the name Cerberus. They kept saying a lot of different words.
Mm-hmm. And then the key to opening that gate is the descendant of Alexander the Great's companion, which just so happens to be Scooby-Doo.
A Great Dane.
A Great Dane. And the latest in that lineage is Scooby-Doo. That's why Dick Dastardly is going after Scooby.
And if you look at the statues that they have of Alexander the Great, it looks like Shaggy.
Yeah, it looks like it's a representation of Shaggy and Scooby. Now, they never really went into detail about, is Shaggy a descendant of Alexander the Great?
It's hinted, but it's not.
It's hinted, but they didn't really build on
that.
They
didn't need to.
Yeah, the main focus was that Scooby is a descendant of Alexander's dog.
The interesting thing is, if they want to explore that in a future movie, they can. Because they laid down the foundation.
Yeah, they really did.
Is Velma a descendant of somebody? Is Fred a descendant of somebody? Is Daphne a descendant?
Hell, could you imagine if Fred was a descendant of Birdman, which is probably why he always wears white and blue?
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway, that's just me talking. But anyway, that's why he's going after Scooby so that he can open those gates. And I noticed something else. I noticed something else that we didn't that I kind of recognized as we were watching the movie, but it was an Easter egg, and it sounded familiar. One of the skulls is in this like inner world that they called Middle Earth. You know, copyright infringement. Man, that was a good joke in the movie. But it's in this other prehistoric world, kind of like the Savage Lands from X-Men. That's where they meet Captain Caveman. And
isn't that the place where the Thundarians or Thundarian?
I think they mentioned the Thundarians too, and the
Herculoid.
Yeah, there you go. And the third and one of the skulls is there, and it's being protected by Captain Caveman. And if you want that skull, you have to fight Captain Caveman. And so that's where we get this fight between Blue Falcon and Scooby-Doo trying to fight Captain Caveman. But outside of that, Captain Caveman called the skull the Slagoople. And I'm listening to that thinking, that sounds familiar. There's something significant about that name, Slagoople. What is it? I can't put my finger on it. And then after I looked it up, it hit me. Slagoople is Wilma Flintstone's maiden name.
That's right.
Her family was the Slagooples before she was known as Wilma Slagoople before she met Fred.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of Flintstone references.
Yes, there was, and that was the one that caught my attention.
One.
Yeah, that caught my attention the most, and the reason I remembered that is because when I watched the old school Flintstones cartoons, I didn't know any of that backstory. I was just watching Flintstones. I didn't really learn about the backstory until I watched Flintstone Kids, when Wilma's name was Slagoople. That's where I knew it from. And so I was trying to put
Captain Caveman was also a part of that series.
Yeah, yes he was. And that's why I was trying to put my finger on it, like, where did I hear that name before? Yeah, Wilma Flintstone's maiden name. It all makes sense now.
But yeah, like the movie's just so good. I mean, it's chock full of so many Easter eggs. They don't make Fred this unbeatable cis male for the modern generations. He's just Fred.
And to be totally honest with you, Fred is the most normal one of the entire group.
Yeah, they don't even make him that weird trap fetish one in the Mystery Incorporated version.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
He gets just like this hard on for traps.
Yeah, it's like he'll go to the school library and all he's reading is just books about traps for no reason. They're not going after anybody.
Do you remember when they walked in on him and he was like looking at like a trap magazine like it was a Playboy? He was like, don't look at me.
No, don't look at me. Like, Fred, you got a problem.
Like, Velma, they didn't make her like awkward. They didn't put her on the spectrum. They didn't make her fucking moist for Shaggy. Like,
at least,
fuck, man.
At least not yet. They might. Maybe that'll be in a sequel.
That'll probably be in the future. But like, Jesus Christ, the last iteration of Velma, like that bitch was thirsty.
Yeah, she was thirsty as hell for Shaggy, and hell, they didn't even touch on the relationship between Daphne and Fred.
They kind of did in like the whole like like the way like little small iterations, but like they kind of just made everybody just like nobody's dating anybody, nobody's going after anybody, like everybody's their own character.
Yeah, which I'm kind of glad because
I love Daphne, the fact that they made her a character. I mean, she's always been a character in every iteration, whether she's the damsel in distress. Like, she was just that person that, like, hey, I believe everybody. I want everybody to be together, kind of deal. To the fucking badass in the remake in the live action movies.
Well, I mean that's because of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah,
you can't make Sarah Michelle Gellar damsel in distress. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, it did in the beginning of the first movie. But the other one was, like, in the movies without Velma and Fred, she was the brains. You remember that?
Yes, I do recall. And even this, but in this one,
she's the heart. I mean, not the heart, the empathy. She's like the mother of the group.
Yeah, you got the muscle, the brains, the mother, and then the heart.
Yeah, which ends up being Shaggy and Scooby.
They're the heart of the group.
And the stomach.
That too.
They even made a reference, just like, oh man, I'm so hungry. When was the last time we ate? I don't know, like 2-3 days ago, maybe? Like, they literally hadn't eaten like a day or so. And they're just like, that's because Shaggy and Scooby are giving them ridiculous sandwiches.
Yeah, like Shaggy and Scooby are always the ones that just break out the food, and that's how they know it's time to eat. Yeah, it's like everything, like their depiction of the group shows that everything in that group is for a reason.
It's a puzzle. You miss one piece,
then the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they even use the House of Cards analogy in the movie. Like, you remove one card, the whole house comes down. And so you remove Shaggy and Scooby, Mystery Inc. is not whole. Mystery Inc. is missing something, and everybody else is not going to be performing at their best because someone in their group is missing. Like, you take out Velma, well, there goes your brains. You take out Daphne, there goes the anchor holding everybody together. Mm-hmm. You take out Fred, there goes your muscle, and in many cases your quick thinker. And the
interesting thing is they experimented with like, oh, let's get rid of this character. Oh, let's get rid of this character. Throughout the years, but ultimately the strongest iteration of the team is all 5 of them together. 6 if you want to include, Scrappy, or whoever else they decide to throw in there, like Shuggy. Was Shuggy was that his sister? Because remember in the Reluctant Werewolf, was that his sister or was that his girlfriend?
Oh man, I do not remember.
Because I know in The Pup Named Scooby-Doo, he had a sister. But in The Reluctant Werewolf, there was a girl in there, and I remember she was a blonde, and I don't remember, like, this is me not seeing this movie for, like, 15 years, of course. And I don't remember if she was, like, a girlfriend of Shaggy, or, like, his sister.
I actually pulled up a list here. I don't see that on here. In fact, the only female I see on this list that I'm looking at is, well, 2 females. Mumsy, which was his mom, and Ruby, which is his daughter. And then it just hit me. Holy crap. Scooby-Doo actually had kids. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he had a bunch of kids with an alien.
Mm-hmm. Man, Scooby gets around, man. Holy shit. And yet in Mystery Inc., he's trying to cock-block Shaggy. What the fuck, Scooby?
Well,
really?
In his defense, like, Velma was being creepily thirsty.
You know what? We actually know some people that are somebody that's like that. We're not gonna get into that. Yeah. But anyway.
And the ironic thing is, Velma had her own Velma in that series. Fucking hot dog water.
Yes, I remember that actually.
She was like lesbian thirsty.
Hey, remember it? Remember in
Ironically
the
enough, played by live action Scooby-Doo. I mean, live action Velma.
remember in one of the animated movies where Shaggy and Velma weren't the item, but it was like Velma's sister. It
Yes.
was when they went to the magic school.
Yeah, like it was always the magic, like the more mystical theme What's New Scooby-Doo movies. Like she would always come back, and Shaggy just had the hots for her.
Yeah, and well, more so, she had the hots for Shaggy too. Like she was about as thirsty, almost as thirsty for Shaggy as Velma was in Mystery Incorporated.
Just not as creepy.
Just not as crazy about it. You know what I mean? But like I watched that movie and I'm just like, Shaggy, go for it. Even Velma is like, Shaggy, go for my sister. Come on.
But yeah, like
half of Mr. Ink was trying to get Shaggy laid in that movie. I'm sorry.
Except for Fred. Let's just be honest. Fred wanted to be the only one that gets ass.
Yeah. I think Fred was just going after Daphne. But Shaggy put on that suit of armor and is like, yo, all right, I'm gonna fight this dragon. Fuck it, let's go. Like Velma's sister is just like,
take me now. Just strips everything off.
Just cast a magic spell and just whoosh. I am nude now. Take me, Zoinks!
But
oh
yeah,
my
like,
gosh,
the movie's great. I mean, there's only so much we can spoil before we literally are just streaming the movie in front of you. Go watch it. Like, in all honesty.
Yes, this, like I said, from both of us, this is a major nerdgasm, and we have to warn you about something that happens in the end, which, even though we're talking about spoilers, I cannot in all good conscience tell you about this. It's basically has to do with how the Mystery Inc. gang, along with Blue Falcon, how they resolve the closing of the gates. That's all I'm going to say. Like, many of us nearly cried. Some of us did cry during that scene. It just hit us right in the feels, and it's just like, I cannot describe it to you. I cannot spoil this.
Without good faith.
Yeah, I can't in all good faith tell you what happened. You have to go check this out. But one thing I will tell you about that I will spoil is the double unmasking of Dick Dastardly.
We're not gonna say who he was underneath the first mask, but it was like.
But it caught us all off guard for a second.
Like everybody was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
It was like, this motherfucker. What the fuck? And then it was a double unmasking.
And he was just like, "Drats." Nobody ever thinks to double unmask.
Oh man, it was great. But go check out this movie. How much was it? What did you pay?
About $25 to buy it. If you're going on Vudu, it's about $5 to rent it, like $5-6 to rent it. So think about it as this: if you love the movie, if you love Scooby-Doo, just buy it.
Yeah, just straight up buy it. It's worth it. If you're
just curious on it, then it's about the price of one ticket to a movie theater. You know, it's cheaper to do that. Like if you want to just have like a movie experience, it's cheaper to do that because it's only one viewing. After that, I think it's like either one viewing and then like you get like 24 hours afterwards, or something like that, or 3 consecutive viewings and that's it. It's I don't remember how the viewing how the renting goes, but that's how it goes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure different streaming services work a little differently. We watched it on Vudu, and just straight up paid
perfectly.
Yeah, just straight up paid the $25, which we had no problem doing it anyway because there's so many Easter eggs and cameos that we're gonna end up watching it again to see if we catch everything.
In all honesty, it's just a fantastic movie. So because of what's going on, the pandemic, however you want to call it, it's gonna be hard to like just go to the movies and or even just buy movies constantly to just review. So I brought this up to Kev before we started recording. And obviously you heard one of them. We were going to do a bunch of reviews of the Bad and the Sun fights.
That'll be fun.
But for every now and then, and you'll know what it is because we'll probably do like a special intro for it. We are going to do something that we call the Marvelous World of Stan Lee.
Pretty much go over the timeline of the MCU up until the last movie, which is I think
whatever's on
Far From Home.
Yeah,
was the last one.
It would be Far From Home, but whatever's on Disney Plus, and this is saying if we don't have any of the other movies that isn't on Disney Plus, on our own features. Like I got the Ant-Man, I got one of the Spider-Man. There's I can't wait till Doctor Strange comes out.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. I can't wait to see how they integrate Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah,
because they're working on that.
Council of Reeds has to be a thing.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
because,
it's gonna be
because reportedly the next big baddie is Galactus, which you can't
do
that without
with the Fantastic
Four. You know what I mean?
And of course, you bring in Fantastic Four, you get Doctor Doom, and we'll go over an idea that Kev had on another episode of In Our Potty Mouth, but the idea of the Marvelous World of Stan Lee is we're gonna go not through chronologically of when the movies were released, but in universe timeline.
Right.
So I'll look up a timeline for it. I believe regardless you have to start unless Thor 1 Thor 1 would not start off with it. Yeah, so it would
Thor Love and Thunder or something like that.
Yeah, if Love and Thunder starts it off, damn, that's gonna suck for us.
Well, I'm thinking of the next phase. I think Love and Thunder is gonna be one of the first ones.
Yeah, but
something like that. But
we're gonna go in universe timeline. So it's gonna be Captain America, the first Avenger. Then we're gonna go with everybody's favorite, Captain Marvel.
Yay blockbusters.
Hey, we get to see young Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything with Samuel Jackson's good.
And then we'll just go on from there all the way to Endgame. And then, of course, after Endgame, we got Far From Home because that chronologically takes afterwards. And the interesting thing is there's certain movies that happen in between certain movies. So, like, instead of going Infinity War, then Endgame, it's literally, it's actually Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, then Endgame.
Yep, that is true. And oh my gosh, that ending to Ant-Man and the Wasp was just.
Whew. We took my nephew to see that.
Yeah, no, I should say not the ending, the after credit scene.
Yeah,
that was just holy shit.
So there may be occasional guest stars on the Marvelous World, and that's just because we're like me and Kev can easily do this ourselves, but we enjoy doing it with other people. We are practicing safe social distancing, and we are. But all our friends that we do hang out with normally, we're gonna like our friend CK, which you guys know him from the videos. He'll be most likely joining us. Extra Zen Brandon, he'll be joining us. Our friend Isaac, he'll join us. If we can get Kim out of that mysterious world known as Medina Lake, she'll probably join us for one. Or Zip, if he can get away from the ball and chain, he'll join us.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens, but I think we may as well go ahead and cut it off here.
Yeah, I mean, this is good first, episode, and this also does feel like a very good podcast. So, yeah, it's been real, guys.
Yeah, well, see you guys next time.